Does it look like a maths question? No, it doesn't look like. It's a physics question. But look at the options. The options are 100% mathematical. Double derivative, expressions in terms of surface tension, S everywhere. Surface tension, topic of the question, surface tension. A large tank. Depth of the tank of length L, mentioned in the question here. That means if I take a z-axis somewhere, then that z-axis will have the length of the tank L, length of the tank L. So if I keep the length of the tank L as this, that means such water layers pulled up due to surface tension exist all along here, everywhere. They go along the same direction at the same angle, theta naught. Now, how does surface tension affect the pulling up of the water level? Surface tension acts along a length. We have the length. Surface tension of this liquid is S. That generates at this point an angle theta naught. At this point an angle theta naught everywhere, wherever you see the water level. And then if I take this point as point P, we have equilibrium of two forces in the vertical direction. See how. At this point P, if this is the horizontal and the water level goes like this and makes an angle of theta naught with the horizontal at the point P, then the surface tension would act in this direction of value SL. Magnitude of the surface tension force would be SL. Why? Why here? Because it acts along a length L, L equal to the length of the tank along Z axis. Then it splits into two components due to this angle of theta naught. It splits into two components as SL cos theta naught and SL sin theta naught. And then the weight of the liquid in this pulled up portion, extended portion, this triangular portion is acting downside. These two come in equilibrium. Weight, you can say, is mass into G defined in the question. Sin theta naught here is defined in the question. They have defined it as tan as equal to dy by dx. The mass can be calculated using the density given here in the question. And then we can say that this mass of the liquid in the triangular portion, this mass, this is the mass, this dense portion is the mass I am talking about, is equal to volume into density into G. Mass is volume into density. Which volume? The volume of the water pulled up, the triangular portion. So therefore, if we have to make an equilibrium here, the SL sin theta portion, let's say the SL sin theta naught is equal to this weight. So sin theta naught is equal to V rho G by S dot L. V by L is an interesting calculation here. If V is the volume of water in the triangle, that will be equal to this triangular area into the depth L. That implies V by L is equal to the area of the triangle. Area of the triangle is equal to half base into height. Let's take the base of the triangle for any particular position as x. Let me show you. From here, let me consider this as the length of x. At this point, let us consider this as a height of y. So we will consider this as half of x into y, half of base into height. So you can have a maximum x till L and maximum y value till here. So therefore, V by L would turn out as equal to half of x into y. Rho G by S, let it remain separate. V by L is equal to half of x into y into rho G by S. Then sin theta naught has been defined as equal to dy by dx. That means your dy by dx value is straight equal to half rho G by S into x into y. If you double differentiate this as is needed in all the four options except this, if you double differentiate, because dy by dx nowhere looks like having a root over, so we can say that option 2 is not really coming. So d2y by dx square, now for this you need to know a lot of calculus. d2y by dx square is equal to derivative of this thing with respect to x. The y is not exactly a function of x, it's a y value at some x position. So if you just differentiate rho G by S kept constant, y by 2 kept constant, and if you differentiate dx of x, you are simply going to get rho G by S into y by 2 as the net answer. That is, here if I consider the y value 0 and here if I consider the maximum value y, this is the average y. So therefore we can say d2y by dx square is equal to rho G by S into y average. Y average. That's the answer we can logically draw, and which we have only here, and this is the right option. This is the NEET 2025 question. These types of questions you can expect, I think, in the future also. Thank you for your patience. See you in the next question.